the door.
Today, I'm going to tell you about 5 disturbing doorbell camera encounters that seem impossible to explain. And in one of them, the intruder's true intentions are still a mystery, leaving the entire neighborhood on edge, so you'll definitely want to stick around for that. If you're a fan of strange, eerie, and downright unsettling stories like this one, you've come to the right place. I upload new videos every week, so sneak into the like button's house and instead of cleaning it, just rearrange all the furniture in slightly awkward places. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Okay, let's get into today's stories. It was a quiet morning in a typical suburban neighborhood. The homeowner had just completed her usual routine: coffee brewing, emails checked, and getting ready for the day. She was used to package deliveries, so when she heard a knock at the door, it seemed completely normal. When she opened the door, she was greeted by a man in a high-visibility vest holding a package. At first, everything seemed fine. But as she stepped forward to accept it, the man's posture changed. His friendly demeanor quickly turned to something far more unsettling. The moment the door fully opened, the man pulled out a gun. The shock hit her instantly. What seemed like a normal delivery quickly escalated into a terrifying situation. With a weapon in hand, the man made an aggressive move toward her, clearly intent on forcing his way inside. Across the street, a neighbor had been watching the situation unfold. Realizing the danger, they immediately called 911, whispering, "There's someone trying to break in with a gun. You need to hurry." In a moment of pure instinct, the homeowner fought back, using every ounce of strength to push the man away. He quickly realized he wasn't going to succeed, so he retreated and fled the scene. The homeowner still can't shake the feeling, standing face to face with someone clearly up to no good. While police were called and an investigation began, the mystery remains open. Why had he chosen her house? What were his true intentions? The unanswered questions continue to haunt her. But sometimes, what seems like a harmless interaction quickly spirals into something terrifying. Just wait until you hear what happened in another seemingly ordinary neighborhood when a woman's doorbell camera caught a man whose intentions were far darker than anyone could have imagined. In July 2021, a woman living alone in her suburban home was enjoying a quiet evening. She'd wrapped up her day. No interruptions, no strange occurrences, just the calm of a typical night. But as the evening drew near, something unsettling caught her attention. She noticed a man peeking through her kitchen window, an eerie presence that immediately sent a wave of unease through her. At first, she convinced herself that she was imagining things, but as the minutes passed, she realized the man wasn't leaving. Instead, he circled the house, drawing closer to the front door. He rang the doorbell once, twice, then stood there, talking to himself. The words he muttered were chilling. "Are you sure? I just rang your doorbell because I have a couple questions for you. Are you positive?" Each repetition was more unsettling than the last, and she could feel the creeping sense of danger.
"Are you sure? I just rang your doorbell because I have a couple questions for you. Are you positive?"
Terrified, the woman did what anyone would in such a situation. She hid inside. Every instinct screamed that something was wrong. This was not normal. She immediately called 911, her heart racing as the man continued to stand on her doorstep. With every passing second, his presence became more menacing. She refused to answer the door, hoping he would just leave. But instead, he lingered. Inside, she used the intercom system, and her husband, who was away at the time, heard the tense situation unfolding. His voice, shaky through the intercom, called out to the man, asking what he wanted. The response he received was beyond belief. The man's reply was horrifying. "What I'm looking for is for the girl that's in the house to come out here because I'm going to make her rape and kill."
I just had a couple questions. What I'm looking for is for the girl that's in the house to come out here because I'm going to the girl that's on the other side of this door when she lets me.
The words cut through the air like a knife. The woman was frozen in fear, but her husband's voice over the intercom had stopped the man in his tracks, causing him to back off. The man was arrested the next day and identified as 40-year-old Christopher Sumps, a fugitive from California. What had started as a quiet evening quickly turned into a nightmare she would never forget. The chilling memory of his words haunt her, and to this day, she's left wondering how many other people he'd targeted before her. The reality of being targeted in your own home is a terrifying truth that stays with you long after the danger has passed. After hearing about that terrifying encounter, you might think you've seen it all. But hold on, what happens next is so bizarre, it's almost comical. This one is strange, unsettling, and, well, just downright weird. Trust me, you won't believe this is real, but it happened. In the early hours of a Saturday morning, the homeowners of a quiet neighborhood in Salinas, California, were away for the weekend. Their kids, however, were still fast asleep inside the house. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary until the family's newly installed security system triggered an alert. It notified them of unusual movement in the front yard. At first, they assumed it was just some random traffic, but when they checked the footage, they were shocked by what they saw. At around 5 a.m., the family began reviewing the footage. The homeowner's curiosity soon turned to confusion as he saw someone lingering around the yard. This wasn't just a passerby. It was a man behaving strangely. The man, later identified as Roberto Daniel Arroyo, appeared aimless at first.
Early Saturday morning, this man, who police now identify as Roberto Daniel Arroyo, spent about 3 hours licking and milling around this Salinas yard. The homeowners were out of town at the time, but their kids were home.
Walking around the yard, but what really stood out? The man was licking the front door. Yes, you heard that right. Licking the door. The behavior didn't stop there. As the footage continued, the man was seen relieving himself in the yard, but that wasn't the strangest part. He then went on to take an extension cord from the yard. The neighbors later found it, confirming the oddness of the entire situation. The homeowner, initially stunned, couldn't help but laugh at how absurd it all was. However, the laughter quickly faded as the unsettling reality of the situation set in. This was no harmless prank. Something was definitely off. Meanwhile, the police were called. After reviewing the footage, they identified Arroyo with ease. "It was a lot easier than we expected," said the officer. "The image was so clear, it didn't take long to pinpoint this individual." The family was relieved. Their new security system had made the process faster, but the feeling of unease lingered. The man's odd behavior didn't escalate, but it left the family deeply unsettled. While nothing was broken and no one was harmed, the trespassing felt invasive. Authorities quickly caught up with Arroyo, but the real question remained. Why did he target this house? And what was his true intent? To this day, the family laughs about the absurdity of the situation, but the memory still haunts them. While Arroyo didn't do any harm, the violation of their space and the sheer oddness of someone licking their door will never be forgotten. It was a stark reminder of why home security matters. Even when things seem strange, they can get very real very quickly. After that strange encounter, you might think you've seen it all. But trust me, this next story will leave you questioning what's truly lurking on your doorstep. It was a quiet evening in an ordinary suburban neighborhood. A woman was enjoying the calm of her home, completely unaware that something strange was about to unfold on her doorstep. At first, when she heard a knock on the door, it seemed like just another typical visitor. But what followed would make anyone's skin crawl. She opened the door to find a man standing there who immediately introduced himself as Stephen. Something about him felt off. His behavior seemed a bit too casual. his eyes darting around as if he wasn't really sure why he was there. When he asked for someone named Stephen, she knew instantly that something wasn't right. He had the wrong house. As the man insisted, saying, "I'm Steve," the confusion grew. The woman politely corrected him, telling him that there was no one named Stephen here.
Stephen here.
You got the wrong house.
I knew this was a ripoff.
Okay, what, are you looking for a Steven?
No, I am Stephen. I'm looking for, Fifi.
Yeah, you got the wrong house.
But he didn't leave. Instead, he lingered, almost as if he was unwilling to admit his mistake. His presence grew more uncomfortable with every passing second, and she began to feel the weight of his unusual insistence. Inside the house, the woman's husband overheard the strange exchange and immediately spoke over the intercom, calmly warning, "My husband's in the living room with a gun." The man outside, clearly startled by the mention of a weapon, finally seemed to realize the gravity of the situation. Suddenly, the man's demeanor shifted. Realizing he'd been caught, he quickly backed away, muttering an almost apologetic, "All right," as he turned and left the premises.
So, you don't want to have tonight?
Sir, my husband's in the living room with the gun.
Huh. Okay.
Have a good night.
Understood.
No confrontation, no violence, but the tension in the air was palpable. The man disappeared into the night, leaving the family with more questions than answers. Though no harm was done, the woman couldn't shake the feeling of vulnerability. Why had this man chosen their home? What was his true intention? The mystery remains unsolved, and the unsettling memory of that moment lingers. It served as a stark reminder that danger can strike when least expected, leaving the family more cautious than ever before. That encounter might seem strange, but brace yourself, because what's coming next, it's one of the most bizarre, unsettling situations you could ever imagine. You won't believe what happened next. On a Monday afternoon in Sebastian, Florida, life seemed normal. The homeowners in a quiet neighborhood near Etna Street and Schumann Drive were going about their day when suddenly the doorbell rang. When no one answered, a man in a black hoodie and his face covered began knocking repeatedly, sending a chill through the air. Little did they know their peaceful afternoon was about to take a terrifying turn. At first, nothing seemed too unusual, but when the homeowner checked the footage from the security camera, things quickly took a dark turn. The man wasn't just knocking, he was holding a handgun. His movements were calm, but calculated. His body language suggested a far more sinister intent. The moment felt like something was wrong, but the true reason for his presence was still unclear. Through the speaker, the man's voice echoed, "Hey, just wondering if you guys saw a lost puppy. He's a pit bull, blue nose. I believe he came in your yard, but I don't want to look without your permission."
Hey, just wondering if you guys saw a lost puppy. He's a pit bull, blue nose. I believe he came in your yard, but I don't want to look without your permission.
At first, his words seemed innocent, but the uncomfortable reality set in. This wasn't a simple case of a lost pet. There was something much more unsettling at play. Calmly, the homeowner responded, "You have the wrong house." The man, undeterred, simply replied, "All right," and turned to leave. But what wasn't clear was why he was carrying a gun or what his true intentions were in targeting this specific home.
Hey, you at the wrong house, dog.
Alright.
Though the situation ended without escalation, the tension was undeniable. The man left, still waving the gun, his presence clearly felt. The homeowners were left with an overwhelming sense of fear, unsure of why their house had been chosen. As of now, the man remains unidentified, and the unsettling feeling of someone showing up armed with a strange excuse continues to haunt the community. The mystery lingers, serving as a chilling reminder that sometimes even the most ordinary moments can take a dark turn. We may never know the true intentions behind these encounters, and we may never fully understand what went through the minds of those intruders. But one thing's for sure, these stories serve as a chilling reminder to always stay alert. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.